You're not.
From District 3, which is North Dixie, to the water, and from the middle of Lucerne up to the water on the other end. We've got maps up here tonight, and as we explain things, you're more than welcome to come up afterwards and actually see some of the properties we're talking about. If you have any questions, we'll do a question and answer at the end, so make sure that we get all your questions answered. We're looking at forming a North Dixie Merchants Association, and that can mean anything. It can mean whatever you need as a merchant. We are here just to facilitate and get you started. This is one of 2 meetings. We will host one more meeting just to get you started and give you some direction and answer some of your questions. We will be here anytime you need us to come to your meetings in any form that you see fit as we introduce ourselves. But we want to let you know that the city is involved in North Dixie, that the neighborhood associations are involved in North Dixie, and also that the next growth spurt that we see happening is on North Dixie. So we're aggressively moving forward, and there's a lot that's been going on in the city. And we're going to go ahead and start by introducing ourselves. Then we're going to introduce you to your neighbors. And we're going to talk briefly about what we're doing in the city. First, I'd like to start with Commissioner Maxwell.
Hi, everybody.
He's District 1. District 1 is this area over here. And briefly tell us about the code initiative that you've been working on.
Actually, we're calling out a real important subject for us here this room, right? We're getting beat up. The city has gone through a number of years of really not focusing on the fundamentals of taking care of our neighborhoods. Code enforcement, unfortunately, is one of the casualties. And we are aggressively right now, I think for the first time in many years, we have the elected body and the administration on the same page, and that we are collectively and collaboratively moving forward on a 5-point approach to improving code enforcement and upgrading our neighborhoods and our business districts. Some of the things we've done within those 5 points, the first thing we did is we revamped some of our ordinances and given some of those ordinances a little more teeth. We've adopted some best practice ordinances from other municipalities. For example, the nuisance abatement ordinance that we adopted from West Palm Beach, which basically gives the city the right to go onto somebody's property after that property has gone through the code process to board and secure that property if the property owner does not do that. And we actually take the cost associated with that service and we attach it to their tax bill. And they'll be required to pay that, or we all know what happens if you don't pay a tax bill. So that's a new tool that we have in our toolbox, and we're hoping to get some results with that. To support that effort, we've set aside a few dollars to obviously pay for the materials and the manpower to do just that. But as you drive through the city, you probably would think, oh gosh, I've got a lot of board ups and lot clearings to do. You're right. But this is a start. The other thing we've done is we've kind of revamped our legal team. Okay, we have a very high caliber, high energy legal team that has a number of people that are experts in the field of code enforcement, and they bring a lot of unique approaches to dealing with some of the more chronic code issues. The third thing we've done is we've gone out and we've kind of gone through a couple of special magistrates, but we found a special magistrate that is going to be really objective and take the concerns of the citizens and the city's needs at heart first before they dismiss, if you will, some of these cases and waive some of these fines. So it's more of a hanging judge type of a mentality. That's probably not the right term I should use in public, but it is a contrast from what we had before, where a lot of folks were coming in and asking for forgiveness and actually receiving it after their property had sat there for years and years and years and been a blight on the neighborhood. So that's a good thing. And last thing we have we're working on right now is we are looking into the idea of actually outsourcing code enforcement. It's time to bring some fresh eyes and a fresh perspective to our neighborhoods and to our business districts, and to eliminate any previous perceptions of bias or favoritism. We think this is going to be a real big help for us going forward. We're going to bring some fresh eyes and some fresh perspective, and hopefully that's going to give us a lot of energy with our code enforcement process. So code enforcement is a real big deal, and we're going to be after it. And you probably saw some pieces in the TV the last couple of weeks of some of our problem properties. We have them all over the city. One of the things we're trying to do is partner through the neighborhood associations and have them kind of take their activism to another level. They've been very good and very generous with their time in helping cleaning up some of these neighborhoods on every weekend. Now we're asked them to maybe participate in some of the board up projects. So it's gonna take us all working together to corral the code enforcement, but I'm optimistic we can do it. So thank you, Andy, for letting me speak on that, and thank you all for coming out tonight.
Hi, I'm Mayor Pam Triolo. From what was just mentioned, we have the daunting task. I don't know how many of you or if any of you were out at the State of the City address, but we're actually, first of all, I'm a business owner. I own advertising, marketing, and public relations. Commissioner Maxwell is a business owner. Commissioner Amoroso is a business owner. Commissioner Zerdi is a business owner, as well as being an elected official. And I can kind of sum up my experiences before being mayor, going to the building department, going to code enforcement, going through inspections. I mean, I did a $30,000 bill down on a building, was supposed to be in October, didn't get in until February, and had to pay rent on 2 buildings at the same time. I mean, so I went through a lot of the things. These problems that exist today didn't just pop up yesterday. They've been going on for an awful long period of time, but the reason I mentioned my State of the City address is that we finally identify what the issues are. It didn't happen overnight, it didn't happen yesterday, things aren't getting worse. They've been bad for a long time, and I hate to say that, I don't mean to be gloom and doom, because usually I'm a cheerleader as the mayor, but if we don't admit where our problems are, we can't fix them. And that's really what we're trying to do, along with removing the disincentives. People, the point of contact that you have as a business owner, with building department, with utilities, with whatever. Those are all the issues that, when you get to interact with our city, and we've been doing a pretty poor job of that. But we're really making some great strides. The people that we've been, the staff that we have represented here, and also, at City Hall, are business-minded, business-friendly, looking to, do the right thing, are professionals and experts in their field. We've got a really strong, solid team that knows, it's not okay to, it's not acceptable to say, yeah, it really stinks here, or it's really bad there, or it's not acceptable to say that anymore. And I really applaud my fellow commissioners who helped us make the tough decisions that say, no, it's not acceptable anymore. We have to run this thing like the tight ship that it is. We've got problems, yes. Infrastructure is a huge problem of mine. The streets, the sidewalks, the potholes, and we're addressing that. We've had so many issues. Code enforcement has been a major issue. Like I said, the utilities. We dropped the electric rates 12%. We're going to drop them again. We created an ordinance that forces the city to be at rate parity while we discuss other options for our utility. So we're not shoving anything under the rug anymore. But we have to get everybody engaged, because now is the time that we're making real progress. We're making real decisions that are going to help and affect your lives. Whether you live here, work here, you own a business here, whatever it is, we support you. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we were here, because now we're making the tough decisions. But we cannot do it alone. Just like in everything else in the city, we can't do it alone. And we need you to get involved. We need you to speak and let us hear what your issues are. Because we're not going to fix it unless we do. And it's not okay to mumble under your breath and say, this is loud, that's lousy, that's loud. I can't hear you. I need to hear you because I want to fix it. Now is the time for us to do this. We've got our act together. We've got a great team in place. Now let's fix this thing and move forward. Because everyone's talked about our potential and, the dreaded P word. But, we really do have amazing potential, and we're realizing that potential every day in so many new ways. Those new ordinances that we created for code enforcement, all the things that we do is we're really making progress here. Now it's time to step up, and we need you. So, yay, team.
Thank you.
It's hard to go after that.
sorry.
Oh my gosh. My name is Jonah Leva, and I'm the director of the Lake Worth Community Redevelopment Agency. And for the last few years, we've been focusing primarily on housing, and we built over 100 new housing units here, and hopefully those will be your customers. But now that we've kind of turned that corner, we had $23 million from the federal government to do it. Now we're looking, okay, what is our next big project? Dixie Hwy is a glaring project that we need to work on. We do not have $23 million to work on it, but we do have a lot of contacts. We have skilled people. We have a lot of smart people at this table. We need feedback from you to figure out exactly where can we start, what can we do, and how can we help each other. The city is not going to get any better unless we bring economic development activities there. That's it, period. You need to bring development. You need to bring outside money into the city. So what we would like you to do is we've created a neighborhood enhancement team, and they have gone over into Scott's area over here, And they have come back to us and they have said, look, we don't want you coming into our neighborhoods telling us what you want to do. Let us tell you what we want you to do. And that's exactly what they've done. So week after week, we either have a festival, or we have a cleanup, or we listen to code enforcement issues, or we listen to garbage issues, and we attack those issues one by one. And that's kind of the same thing we're asking you to do on Dixie Highway. I obviously am not driving every single day between Lucerne and the spillway to know all your issues, and I know there's a lot of different ones. But I can tell you that if we had a small group together and we concentrated on a smaller area and then tried to build from there, we could probably get something started. And you know, with working closely with William, and we've done the ULDRs for the city, that's the land development regulations. There's a whole new set of rules out there, and we need to be really good at explaining what those rules are and what we want to come here. Because if you don't tell people what it is you want here and you just let them do whatever, you're going to just get whatever. So it's really true. So, you know, there are things we can do right now. We do have, you know, we do pretty good marketing. We have Facebook, we have the web, we have all these other tools that we can use, but we just need your input and your help to kind of guide us along the way. So we also have a survey here. If you could fill that out for us, we'd really appreciate it. It kind of gives us an idea of ways, small ways at least, we can start helping you. And then obviously if you ever need anything, please feel free to contact the CRA.
Hi, I'm William Waters, Director for Community Sustainability. We're a newly organized department beginning September of 2012. It includes a building division, planning, zoning, historic preservation, also code compliance, business tax receipt, use and occupancy. It has a component of economic development as well as sustainability. And I've been the director for just over 2 years. What we've tried to do is what the mayor was describing as having a one-stop shop, customer service oriented approach to however you would want to invest money in the city. Because if money is going to be invested in legwork, it's going to come in through our department and then incorporate activities from other departments within the city. We have strived with the new land development code, which went into effect August 16th, to have a comprehensive rezoning of the entire city, to make it clear, predictable, also a quick process. As it's been set up, it's rather innovative. If you have a request, most of them can be handled by one hearing before one or other of the boards, either the Planning and Zoning Board or the Historic Resource Preservation Board. In the worst case, it can be 2 hearings, the final one being for the City Commission, but those are for very, very large projects. We have dropped the approval time frame by about 75% over what it was before. We've expanded the use table, and I'll go into it more later. We also have spent a lot of time trying to get information out as best we can on the city's website. All of our forms now are online fillable for applications. There is some interface with code compliance and business tax receipts where you can help yourself on the city's webpage and find that information. And then if you have a further request, you can follow up with the department. I will implore you to be patient. Since I've come into the department, the staff has turned over more than once. There are only, I think, 4 people left in the department who were here when I got here. Code compliance is an example. Everybody is new there except for 2 people. Planning and zoning staff is entirely new. Some of the code compliance, the business tax receipt people are new. And so we are starting out with a new team approach to new rules and regulations that hopefully will turn the city around and facilitate a smooth, predictable, and achievable process to invest money in the city.
Thank you. Can you talk a little bit about 2012?
Sure. I'm Mike Bornstein. I'm the city manager, and I work directly for the mayor and the commission. I'm accountable to them to run the city organization and to implement the policy that they set. So basically, I have to really give a lot of credit to the elected officials and my counterparts here and my staff. We very much recognize that the city government it's not going to be what saves this city. It's the private sector investment, it's the businesses. And what we're very good at is providing context and for that investment to occur. We're also good at removing the disincentives that have been created over the years, and we're actively working on that to try to make that happen. So that's a big push for us. Commissioner Amoroso just mentioned one strategy that we're really looking at to really make that happen, and it's the Lakewood 2020 plan. Just very briefly, the city hasn't invested in itself like it should have for probably the last 30 or 40 years. You can drive around and see the infrastructure that's crumbling, the roads with the potholes. There's also things underneath the ground that's not going on. We have sections of the city where there's not even fire hydrants or roads that were built. So any city that's being successful, one of the basic fundamental things that it provides is infrastructure. So we're going through and really looking at that issue and bringing it forward, and the commissioners, they've been working through this issue with us. It's a huge hurdle for this city. But it's one of the things when somebody looks to invest, either to buy a home here or to locate a business and bring their lives here, infrastructure is one of those important things. And it's a huge strategy you're going to be hearing more and more about. It's called Lakewood 2020, and it's something you need to pay attention to, especially as business owners in the city. So we have a great team. We're very focused on making this a city a success, and we have a great process that we're working on here, so I'm really proud to be a part of the team, as the mayor would say.
Thank you. We're going to go around the room. I want you to introduce yourself and what business you represent and or group. John, we'll start with you.
John Fels, Coastline Realty, 511 Lake Avenue. Also a president of one of the local neighborhood associations, vice president of the Neighborhood President's Council, and president of the Downtown Merchants DCA.
I am one of the owners of the Tonic Living at 619 Mount Dixie.
I'm Melanie, I'm one of the owners at
Tonic Living as well.
John from Technico at 1104 North Dixie.
Well,
I'm Scott Brown with the Central Palm Beach County Chamber of Commerce.
Mary Lou Bedford with the Central Palm Beach County Chamber of Commerce.
we'll jump to the far side.
Yeah, my name's Lou DeSada. I'm here for Harry's Banana Farm, 1919 North Dixie.
Anna Maria Windish, president of Royal Poinciana District 1 on this side of Dixie.
And she's also representing Mango Groves, which is on the north side of Dixie Highway, from the middle of Lucerne all the way down to the Spillway. I used to be the president of that neighborhood association, and we encourage any of the merchants on that side to join their neighborhood associations. Also on the left-hand side is Tropical Ridge, and we also encourage you to join that neighborhood association.
Charlie Crawford, I own White Apron Catering at 1710 North Dixie.
Great. Mary, I'm going to stop with you and I'm going to end with you so you can speak. Next.
Phil Materio with Mallard, last 22 years on North Dixie Highway, and board member of Tropical Ridge Neighborhood Association.
Great, thank you.
Loretta Sharp, Showing and Associates, a real estate firm at 329 North Dixie, and I'm with South Palm Park Neighborhood Association, which I have to go to in a very few minutes. And I've been in the city 27 years, and I have a lot of things to say.
Thank you.
That's tough to follow. I'm Jimmy Zollner from Compass. I'm also on the Historic Preservation Board.
I'm Michael Chase Flack. This is Ron Fox. We own and operate in our third year Chase the Fox. We're now at 318 North Dixie Highway. We were prior at 12th and Dixie.
Welcome.
And Michael always speaks for me, but I'm Ron Fox. And I'm Wes Blackman. I'm an urban planner and the current chairman of the Historic Preservation Board. And I'm also on the board of the College Park Neighborhood Association.
Thank you.
Robert Gonzalez, Collins Collision Center. Also the founder of the North Dixie Merchants back in the 80s, but unfortunately faded away, so that's why we're here again.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. David, can you join us up front?
Where, you're coming aboard?
Yes.
It's a Groucho Marx.
He never gets old.
Wes, how are you?
Hey there.
How are you?
Is this good, or you want me to get closer?
No, that's good.
All
Tell
right.
us who you are.
David Palladino. We're opening the old Christine's, the old Jet Setters, 1132 North Dixie. It'll be called Blue Front Barbecue.
Okay, we're going to jump to PBSO. If you'd like to come and join us. Oh, yeah, let's get them up here. Mary? Yep, Mary now, while they're getting up here.
Okay. My name is Mary Lindsay. I'm the chair of the Neighborhood Association President's Council, and you never have to guess which neighborhoods are around your businesses Because the truth of the matter is, between the residents of Lake Worth and you, the merchants, we all have our lives and livelihood invested here. The condition of the city, the condition of the economy matters to all of us. So I'm here on behalf of the Neighborhood Association President's Council to say bravo. This is wonderful. We've all been very excited about the opportunity for the Dixie Highway merchants to get organized. And should you organize in a way that works as a nonprofit, the NAPC would be very, very happy to welcome you to our family of nonprofit associations dedicated to improving this wonderful city that we're all proud to call our home. So it's not hard to find us. We have exceptional partnerships and collaborations with the DCA, with the CRA, with Little O, with the City of Lake Worth, with the Chamber of Commerce, and with so many businesses, houses of worship in the city. We're not just your neighbors, we're your base customers. Your success is our success, and we really believe that together, working as neighbors, merchants and neighbors together, we can make a turnaround on Dixie Highway. We can make a turnaround in the city of Lake Worth. One of our strongest alliances is with PDSO, and the NAPC is very proud to have sponsored this program called Make the Call, Y'all. Make the call, y'all. Whenever you see behavior that's odd, suspicious, doesn't look right, doesn't feel right, this is the number to call. We're handing these out to 30,000 people very, very soon. We're giving a presentation tomorrow as far out as Belle Glade. We're going to take this county-wide. Safety is critical to success, to economic development, that sense of security, that our home is safe, our city is safe, our businesses are safe, our customers are safe, our merchants are safe. I damn near died when my friends at PNC had an armed robbery there. You know, that's not just my bank. Those are my neighbors. I know those people. And we all feel the same way about each other. So we've got a slew of these for you to take, put on your counters, use them.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, PBSO.
Well, quickly, hi everyone, I'll introduce myself. I'm Captain Silva. I have the privilege of being your district commander here. District 14, as it's known, which is the old former Lake Worth Police Department. With me, I have a slew of guys here. I have a couple of vice guys in the back, and I had them come to the meeting because we think it's important to listen to what you guys have to say. We're here to support this organization. If you can get on your feet and have the kind of success that the neighborhood associations have had, it's only going to really help us tremendously. So we're here to support. I also have a sergeant with me who's new to our team. His name is Sergeant Ole Olson. We're very privileged to have him. He came from District 7 and has an extensive background in investigations where he did the majority of his career. We're here to answer some questions as well. Anything you may have for us. I know there's a lot of issues up on North Dixie Highway, and I wish I had something really spectacular to tell you at this point, but more than anything, we're here now just to be in front of you, to try to see what we can do to support you. And again, just start building these relationships. If there's anything we can do going forward to help support you and encourage you to be successful, we're here for that. So we're here to answer some questions down the road here, but I think that's
Captain Silva, I'm going to get it started. We're going to get it. I truly believe that you should get in front of it. The big problem we have on Dixie Highway that merchants are shaking their heads is prostitution. So can you update us on exactly where we are? I think this group is old enough to use the prostitution. Yeah, talk to us about the issues with the. Show me your tip.
Oh, yeah. Well, how many of you guys were around 5 years ago when we first took over the Lakewood Police Department? All right. Do you recall back then how many prostitutes were around? Was it a little bit more than it was now? Or was there a lot back then, it went down for a while, and now you're starting to see it surface up a little bit? Is that kind of what the real picture is? I would agree with that. Well, when we first got here, and you guys need to keep in mind, for the most part, District 14 is just the Lake Worth Police Department a little bit reorganized. A few different people coming in, different policies and procedures, maybe a little bit different tactics and strategies, but for the most part, all those guys you see in the back, all of them are former Lake Worth police officers. And how we were able to come in and do the change that we did is pretty remarkable. A little bit lucky also, but what's happened, unfortunately, over the last couple of years, these girls have become pretty savvy. I shared this information with the homeowner associations, the council, when we met with them a few months back. What's going on is these girls know that, for the most part, law enforcement, those guys in the back and others that we have working in undercover capacity, this is the best way that we, take them out of business is by arresting them for solicitation for prostitution. And the only way we can do that is if we get them to say some magic words that ultimately give us probable cause so we can make an arrest. Well, they kind of know that we're looking for those words, and more than that, they also know that we cannot physically be really touching them, if you know what I mean. So what they do now, it's a little strategy, they force us right up front, and Josh, why don't you come up here and kind of, you can share with us. And by the way, we're not going to just take Josh's word for this. Deputy Josh Wick's been with us now how many years?
About 14 years.
About 14 years, very good narcotics undercover vice officer, very good at it. We got it on video, so it's not just taking his word for it, but because our cars have video and audio, and what's happening, unfortunately, is a lot of these girls are, what are they doing? What games are they playing?
Well, the first thing they do is they have a pretty well-founded belief that a law enforcement officer cannot or will not touch them on their body. So the first thing they do when they get in the car, they don't even talk to you, they don't even say, hey, how you doing? They pull down their shirt and say, touch my breast, or whatever. And if you don't, or you cannot, I will not, so when you hesitate, or whatever, they just say, let me out of the car, and that's it. So we have, I met with so we had that problem, coupled with a miscommunication, we'll call it, with the state attorney's office that we met with, myself and the captain and my other supervisor, and met with them about the sentencing that was happening, because what was happening, you would call in as a business owner, seeing a prostitute walking Dixie Highway. I would go get a team of guys together and go arrest her, and she would get put in jail, and the next morning she would be out, and you would be none the wiser of the fact that we had actually done our job, but she would get time served at first appearance when she went in. So we met with the assistant state attorney, actually his number 2 man, Adam's his name, and we kind of rectified that little issue we were having. And now I've talked to them, and I think we may be able to move forward on a little way around them asking us to touch them and able to arrest them for that, for the solicitation.